Hello and welcome to the Meeple Minded podcast, the podcast where we talk all things tabletop gaming. My name is Jason.
And I'm Ant.
How are you doing this weekend?
Happy New Year to you, Jason.
Happy New Year to you indeed.
And to you viewers, listeners, happy 2025.
Indeed. And you've said a magic word there.
I have?
We're on video.
Oh, yes.
Yes, this is actually being released on the tube of you. So if you're new to us and have only just found us on YouTube, hello, welcome. Well, you've already heard who we are and what we do.
Exactly.
So yeah, there you go. That's your introduction.
That's it.
That's it. How are you?
All good. How was your Christmas?
It was very nice. It was enjoyable. I had
Yeah?
some time off work. I had the family down. I had my son here for the duration. Played a few games. Didn't play as many games as I was hoping to play.
Okay.
But I did introduce my son to a few new games.
Nice.
Which he took to, which I'm very happy about. Yeah, I introduced him to Gangstrom Clever. So he's now had his introduction into Roll and Rights.
Okay.
I was going to get him to play the Roll and Write Loot from Spiel.
Yes, that's right.
But we ran out of time on the day we were playing games, so didn't get to do that. But yeah, he got to play that. We played a little bit of Fairy Ring as well.
Oh yeah, okay.
I was very happy that he
That's with the
that.
mushrooms, right?
Yeah, and the fairies that move around the
That's
mushroom
it.
village. Yep.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Obviously, we played a lot of Monkey Palace.
Yeah.
Because he loves that game.
And it's Lego. Come on.
And it's Lego. We did a hell of a lot of Lego. In fact, one of the pieces is up behind you there, Ant. The gold bat.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's a moving thing as well. It's quite a cool thing. But yeah, what about you? Get up to much over the festive period?
Well, it was the first time I had it off in 6 years. So yes, it was actually nice to be home with family and play games. All the games that I mentioned on our previous episodes. If you didn't know what that was, go back and listen to that. But no, yeah, it's just nice to actually not have to work it this year. Worked over New Year, but I'm more of a Christmas guy than New Year, so
yeah.
And now it's good to be back on the mic.
It is, and but believe it or not, although this isn't going to be released for a little while after, the current date, the day that we're actually recording, is the 2nd of January. So it is literally right at the start of the new year. Hopefully, when we record in the future, it'll be a bit closer to the release.
Yeah.
But
we're getting used to the whole YouTube thing first.
Exactly.
Right? So
I'm going to need some extra time to know about the editing and stuff like that. Roughly how long it's going to take me before I can start saying, "Oh yeah, we'll record 2 days before we put it out," because I can't commit to that.
You sort of tease we might only do a couple of episodes a month at some point, but then we might go back to the normal one a week sort of thing.
So yeah, I mean that's going to be, I guess we'll cover that very quickly. So if you're looking for the top 5, then please do skip ahead. But at least to start with, we are going to be dropping the podcast down to once every 2 weeks. And the release day is also changing. It used to be on a Tuesday. It's now going to be released on a Sunday.
Okay.
So the idea with that being is I release a normal video review, something like that, every 2 weeks on a Sunday.
Yeah.
So the 2 weeks that we don't do a
review
video, you will get a podcast episode with at least my shining face.
And is that just the video yourself. Or the audio as well?
So this will still be available in audio.
Yeah.
And it will come out at the same time as the video. So you can still listen to this audio only if you want. The audio version will also be uploaded to YouTube because they have audio podcasts as well.
Absolutely.
So yeah, if you want to stick with audio, that's great. It's still going to be available
It's still
everywhere.
The option.
Still the option there. But those of you that want to watch video YouTube, guess what? We're here. You get to look at our ugly mugs. Poor you. But yeah, so at least for the interim, my partner wasn't very happy about it. Oh. She likes us doing a weekly podcast. So I did have a bit of a slap on the wrist for that. But yeah, at least to start with, we're going to drop it to once every 2 weeks, which will hopefully make it easier for our schedules to align so that we're all available. But yes, that's where we're going to be going. That's new this year. And video podcast. Yay.
Let's
give it a try. You never know. Might continue. Hopefully it will.
Look forward to it.
Yeah. Games. Can we talk about some games?
Yes.
Let's talk about some games because 2024 is over.
It is.
And we didn't do a roundup episode last year.
No, we were going to though, weren't we?
We were.
I think just with clashing and working and whatnot during the Christmas period, sort of caught up, didn't it?
Yeah,
So,
it just didn't pan out. But
No.
it kind of enabled us to do this episode.
Absolutely.
Which, of course, is our top 5 games of 2024. And that's games released
Yes,
in 2024.
absolutely, yeah.
Because for the first time ever, I've actually managed to play a decent amount of brand new spanking games.
Nice.
Where I can actually justify doing a top 5 list. Whereas normally it would be, I could do a top 5 list because I'd played 5 new games.
Yeah.
And that's about it. But yeah, what about you? Did you manage to get a decent amount of brand new games?
I actually got a top 10 in.
No,
I got a
very
top
nice.
10. Normally, it's like you said, it's a 5 because I usually catch up with games that have been out previous years. So I've actually got a genuine top 10, but we're only doing the 5, so we might do some honorable mentions.
There's definitely going to be
afterwards.
some honourable mentions. And I think this year, because obviously we managed to attend Essen, which means we had access to a lot of the new games when they were released, as opposed to 3 months later and therefore not being in the correct year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there was a couple of ones that I found a bit confusing when I was going back through my BG stats app, that I know were released in 2024, but they were listed as 2023.
Yes.
Because I think that's when they were announced, but then they didn't officially release till the...
Yeah.
I think...
Yeah, mine's kind of a cheat because one of mine was sort of released in another country 2023, but it's actually officially released here 2024. So there's a slight cheat on one of my ones, but it was officially here in early 2024.
Okay, fair enough. I'm going to say it now. Comic Hunters is not in my list.
Okay.
And I considered it. It was definitely up there. Which again, that would have been a game that was actually released in 2020, but it was only released in
Of course, because
English
that's
in
right.
2024.
Yes, that's right.
In the latter half of 2024 for that. So that would have made the list if I thought it was worthy of my top 5, but it wasn't quite. So, should we dive into our top 5?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the countdown.
In true Meeple Minded fashion,
Here we go.
I was going to ask who should go first, but do you know what? I'm going to be really nice. I'm going to go first.
New year, new Jason.
New
wow,
year,
I was
new
so ready
Jason.
to be first then. Go
How
for it, then.
about that? Now, the main reason I want to go first is because I'm not sure if this will appear on your list. And I'm also not sure if it's the correct year of release. But
Okay.
you will be able to confirm whether it was.
Okay.
And if it's not, I'll have to panic and come up with another number 5.
Okay.
So my very first one is from All Play Games, which is the River Valley Glassworks.
It's not on there.
It's not.
Not on there, no.
It's not.
Didn't even make the top 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. But it is a 2024 game.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
So I feel good about that.
Yes. The Kickstarter was 2 years ago. Did come out this year. So yes.
Very nice. So yeah, River Valley Glassworks. It's it made my list purely because it's one of the games that I managed to play with my partner.
Okay.
Actually, when you were lending me.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Lending
okay.
me the game, and she absolutely loved that game. And when we
Really?
had it, we played it to death.
Wow. Okay.
To the point that I am kind of on the lookout for a copy. But I'm being a bit snobbish, I would say, with that, because I want the copy that you have,
deluxe,
the deluxe
yeah,
version.
yeah.
I'm not bothered about the all singing, all dancing, actual
No.
glass pieces and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
I just want the really nice deluxe neoprene matte copy. I thought that was very, very nice production. But
I think for a game like that, you need that version of it, honestly.
yeah, I mean, I think, because when I did the review for it, I kind of did say that I don't think you need that. And I will stand by that. I don't think you do. However, it definitely adds to the enjoyment of the game.
Yeah, especially for a game like that.
And seeing it when we were at Essen and seeing them side by side, the deluxe and the retail.
That's right.
There's definitely a clear difference. It's not one of those that I found was minimal difference for quite a hefty price increase.
Yes, yeah.
So I was very impressed with that. But the actual game itself made it on the list because it's just very intriguing. And every time I've played it, I've tried a new strategy and I haven't got bored of it.
Yeah.
And I was looking at my sort of BG stats and I've played that game 37 times.
Wow. Okay.
Now, that's a hell of a lot.
For you, that's a lot.
That is a hell of a lot. Considering the amount of games I play per year, that is a large chunk, right? That is a very large chunk. And I'm impressed because I'm not bored of it yet. I'm not thinking to myself, I don't really want to play that. What I'm actually thinking is, I really wish I had that. I really wish I had that game, because there's been so many times where I've gone, do you know, I'd really like to play that.
Did you try the expansion with it as well?
We didn't try the expansion. Now, I think if I managed to come across a copy that had the expansion, that would be one of the first things we would do. But yeah, really, really, really fun game.
Nice pick.
Nice production, especially the deluxe version. I have seen the retail version since doing that review for it, and I would say that the production on that is very, very good as well, and definitely ample for what you're paying for that game. I wish it was more readily available in the UK.
Yeah, it's a bit annoying.
It's I think it's another one of those, because all play's got their own distribution.
That's the issue, isn't it? Yeah.
But that's obviously in the United States. So to get it here is quite costly. I'm hoping, fingers are definitely crossed, that somehow it makes its way across here for the UK Games Expo. But I'm not sure, because I don't remember All Play being there.
No, it would be their first time they're there. But hopefully our good friends at Board Stupid could pick up a copy, maybe at Essen next year.
Indeed.
This year.
This year. It is this year now. How bad is that? It feels really bad saying that, because I know we're not going to Essen this year, which is not good. But hey, there you go. River Valley Glassworks by All Play is my number 5.
Good pick, sir. Nice pick. My number 5 then is a game you introduced to me at the beginning of the year. It was a Kickstarter that I wanted to do, but at the time couldn't afford it, so I had to back out of it in the end. But when I found out you had it, I had a brief sigh and go like, thank God you got it. So my number 5 is going to be Age of Comics.
Oh yes. That's an interesting one. That's an interesting, because
really?
I was looking at it and going, because it's listed as 2023 now. Yeah. I don't think it delivered until
it was early this year, 2024.
So we're going to say that is 2024. We're going to cheat on that one.
But slight cheat, yeah.
But it is on BG. Hit me a microphone. It is on BGG as 2023, but I think that was when the actual crowdfunding was.
Right, okay.
Delivered wise in the UK was early 2024. Cool. So we'll allow it.
We'll allow it for now. So why is it my number 5? I think
it's awesome.
It is awesome. It is again worker placement. My second favorite genre of board games anyway. But to have it in a era where the golden age of comics was, the artwork makes you feel like it is the 1940s, 30s, 20s, whatever it is, sort of thing. The map of New York and the money you have, how you can actually print these comics and stuff. And the fact that it's a comic book game, it is all original art from themselves. They've not copied anyone. They've not copied DC. They've not copied Marvel. They've literally come up with their own comics, their own front covers, everything. I love how you've got the massive front covers that you could buy, and then you can actually get the miniature versions that actually look like little comics you can put on your placemat and everything. There's just so much to it. The fact that you can you can copy your other player's comic and stuff. What's the saying for it?
Like the fake rip-off.
That's the rip-off. That's it. The rip-offs, yes. Such a clever mechanic. I mean, you don't obviously get as many points for it, but you can. The fact the option is there is just so great, and it is heavily thematic on like I said, its artwork and stuff. Its color, even the player pieces are very bland beige, and apart from one which I think is teal, but the rest of it would probably suit that time of year and era that it would go with. I honestly thought when I first played it and Jason had it all set up, I thought to myself straight away, I'm not going to like this. This is going to be too heavy for me. But it is so easy after one teacher, again, after a few rounds, and I was begging Jason to sell his copy and just kept begging him to do it.
He really was.
And in the end, I ended up buying Jason's version from someone else at Expo who was selling it to earn some money for Expo. Yeah. So I managed to meet him, grab a copy of it, and I just love it. I've introduced it to other comic lovers, and I felt if it wasn't it had to be in the top 5. If not in the top 10, it was going to go in the top 5 simply for that reason.
Nice.
So Age of Comics has to be number 5 for me.
Nice. And the best thing is, like, I backed that one purely on the grounds that I couldn't get Marvel
Comic Hunters.
Comic Hunters.
Yeah.
That tells you how long ago, how long I've been trying to get Comic Hunters. But I backed Age of Comics because it was clear at the time that Comic Hunters was not coming to the UK or even an English-speaking world.
So you sort of bought it before, until at least Comic Hunters came out.
Kind of like the Rebound game.
You still own it, though, right?
I still own it. Yeah. It's I'm pointing over here, but all of my games are actually in front of me. I restructured everything earlier, and when I picked it up to put it back on the shelf, I was like, I really want to play this.
I know, right?
I love this.
You haven't played it in ages, so
Yeah.
we get to get back, bring it.
And
to the
it's
table.
another game that my partner really, really enjoys. Now, I understand what you're saying with regards to how heavy the game looks, because it's got that appearance. It's got that sort of Ian O'Toole color palette.
Yeah.
The very, very muted colors. Even the teal that you say is a very vibrant color, but even that seems muted.
Yes, definitely.
So they've done a really good job with that. And yes, I guess it kind of looks very bland, but it's not bland.
No.
So yeah, I'm very, very impressed with that.
Yeah, the board and the player pieces of the bland part, but the comics, that's what stands out. They're
100%.
vibrant colors and like you said with Comic Hunters, they just pop. And then it's it's such an eye attraction. Like, I want to make that comic, and I'm going to do whatever I can to make that comic book. So,
and they've done that. It's almost like a deliberate choice, isn't it? Like, make the whole board as bland and muted as possible, so that the comics really stand out.
Absolutely.
Because then your eyes are drawn to those comics and go, oh, they're very nice.
Absolutely.
And then even to the level where the fake comics have got
some sort
lesser ink,
but they still
printing
stand
to them,
out.
but they still stand out. So you've got 3 different levels of eye poppingness, if you like, and muted levels. So you've got the board, which is quite muted and very bland looking.
Yeah.
Then you've sort of got the next step up, which is your rip-off comics, which are a little bit better, a little bit more vibrant. But then when you hit
not
those
as the original
official ones, boom, they're right there standing out. And for something that's quite small, they're not much bigger than normal sort of tokens. They really do stand out on the board.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think they've done a fantastic job visually, and the game is fun as well. So really, really good choice.
Thank you.
Is it Lirius game?
Yeah, I couldn't remember it's something like that. I couldn't pronounce it very well.
It's I can't even see it from here. My eyes are terrible. Lirius.
We'll go with Lirius. Yeah.
Lirius Games. Very good choice. So moving on to my number 4 now, I will say at this point my list is in no particular order. Okay.
Okay.
So these are all kind of in a level. I think the only one I would say that is going to be where I would put it as number 1 is number 1. So the next one for me is actually Loot.
Ooh, Hachette Games, right?
Hachette Games, that's right. Hachette Games UK.
Sorry.
For us here, yes, because obviously Hachette Games does have US, but we're in the UK, so it's Hachette UK. So this was first introduced to me by Stephen over at Table Talk Games.
Hi,
Hello, Stephen. Thank you very much for introducing us to this game. We've played it quite a few times.
We have.
I've played it alone with Stephen as well as with other people at different events. And almost every time he comes along, I'm like, I really hope he's bought it. And it's a really fun little game. Very, very simple concepts to the game, where you are Vikings and you're sort of coming off the sea and then sort of spreading out across the land to gather the resources that you need to, do stuff. Really, really fun. Really fun. The miniatures, or not miniatures, sorry, the meeples.
The meeples
fantastic.
that actually look like Vikings.
They do.
It's like
They do. And
they actually go with the theme. It's like, I can't stand just basic meeples now. They need to go with it.
Exactly. I mean, don't diss the standard meeple too much, because that's our thing.
Of course, yes. No, of course. But we're within the theme of our meeple. But yes.
We are. But yeah, it's just a fun little game. Quick 20-minute, 30-minute.
Yeah, not very long at all.
Game.
Yeah.
Doesn't take up a lot of space. Setup is not too long either. and it's just
And it's
good
replayable,
fun.
isn't it, the setup? Because you
Oh,
can
yeah.
have it so many different ways, can't
Yeah,
you?
you set the board up in different ways. I think everyone's got their sort of niche how they want to play it.
Yeah,
Some
totally.
people really want to hit the
Harder
the-
versions of it and stuff.
the heart of it. Yeah, exactly. And some people want to hit the violent side of it. By collecting, is it shields or
Yep.
or whatever it is.
Yeah, axes and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
as well. Yeah.
something like that. Yeah. But yeah, really good fun.
I
Love it.
honestly, I didn't think it was going to be in the top 5. I thought maybe your top 10, but wow, it hit the 5.
Yeah, I'm actually very surprised. I really did enjoy that game. So, I've noticed a bit of a theme with the games on my list. I will be honest, but we'll talk about that a bit later, I think. But yeah,
Okay.
number 4 is going to be loot.
Not loot, as in the
Not
SE game.
loot. It's loot.
Nice pick, mate. So I think Jason has spotted something with me this year with a certain company. So my number 4 is DeVere Games, The White Castle, which
White
is
Castle.
again another one that was released in the States and Germany, I believe, in 2023.
Yep.
We didn't get it till 2024. So I'm
Our
gonna,
list.
I
If you don't like it,
don't like it, yeah. So I'm going to take that again. I've cheated twice. I'm going to put it on there. But White Castle, good God, I love this game.
Yes.
Now, we haven't played it much recently, but I remember when we did start playing it, we had a lot of fun with it. I remember James really enjoying it as well.
Yeah.
But if anyone doesn't know what it is, it's like the Japanese themed worker placement, which is strictly in 3 rounds. And in the game, you only get to have 9 turns in the entire game. Again, DeVere does it so brilliantly with its small box, but expands out as a massive table presence. Your little bridges with dice in that you have to use from either side to like place them onto the board to do certain actions. It's so thinky and it's so thematic, and it has some beautiful Japanese artwork on the boards, as well as some of the little heron miniatures and stuff like that. From your different type meeples as well, your courtesans and your warriors and your gardeners and stuff. The reason it's number 4 is that it's one of those games, again, a worker placement for me, but it's one of those ones where I want to do this, but then I want to do that. And it's really aggravating because it's one of those ones where I want to do more than one turn on my turn, but I only have 9 turns to do this, or to get to this before Jason does, or to get this before James does. It is fantastic. And it's one of those ones where I wasn't too sure about it, but I'm so glad I picked it up and so glad I actually gave it a chance. And it has spawned my love for DeVere Studios, game studios at the moment. I have bought a bunch of other their games this year, but this one was the one that made it for me to get into the top 5 at least.
Very nice. Very nice. And a great game. Again, like you said, we haven't played it for quite some time now. I know you picked up the expansion for it, which I'm very excited to try.
Totally.
Can't make it on the list. I mean, we couldn't make it on my list because I haven't played that. But be interested to see how that does change the game.
Yes, yeah.
I think all of us, when we first played it, were just sort of, once we'd finished playing it, was like, oh God, I just wish there was one more round.
Yes.
Just one.
Yeah.
And I know James is quite set in his ways in saying, I was like, no, it needs more. We need to, house rule it so that there is more rounds. And I
think we did that once as well. We actually house ruled it for another round or something.
I think we did, yeah, something like that. But I actually totally disagree with that. I think the game is the perfect length because I like finishing a game thinking, I just wish I had one more because it just, there's that frustration, yet some kind of joy of knowing if only there was that one more round, I could do this, this, and this. But the point is there isn't. So I should have done this, this, and this before the game was over.
Absolutely. And when a game makes you feel like that, it's a good one.
Yeah.
It's done its job.
It's much like those games that once you finish playing it and you're thinking about it, you're running through in your head, it's like, well, I'm going to do this next time. I'm going to do this next time.
Right.
That's how a game should
absolutely.
be. And that is one of the things that makes a great game. And I will say, White Castle, for me, is one of those games that I did have those feelings for.
Yeah.
After we played it, I think I even said to you one evening, I think we played it at yours, and on my walk back from your house, I was thinking about the game constantly, and I'd message you when I got home.
We played like the next day or something.
Exactly. I was like, are you free tomorrow? Because I want to play again. Because I've thought about this. I want to do this.
Yeah.
and that happened.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that, again, great game, fantastic sign of a great game. Devere Games have been knocking it out of the park.
Oh, 100%. There's still loads that I want to play. Like we've got a Hard Rock. Rock Hard. Sorry,
yeah.
I can't wait to play that. I mean, they're going to knock it out this year as well. I know they've got a couple of ones in the bag. We saw at Essen in their cabinet thing, and it's like, oh my god, I can't wait for them to give those a try.
Devere Games really knocking it out of the park. White Castle again, fantastic game. Good choice, sir.
Thank you, mate.
Very good.
Thank you.
I'm actually quite surprised that this made it on the list because it's a 2-player game.
What?
A 2-player game has made it onto my top 5 list. I think it's going to be on quite a few people's lists, but what the hell? I don't care. The game is Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth.
Yeah.
What
All right.
a cracker of a game that is.
What a cracker of a 2-player game.
Indeed. We played this while we were at Essen.
Day one, baby.
Day one. We were very, very lucky in that I was given a review copy of that. So thank you very much for that. But I think having played your copy of the game, if we hadn't have been given that copy, I would have ended up getting another copy of it.
Yeah.
I would have bought that game.
Yeah.
So, what a game. It's another game that my partner absolutely loves, and she will play it anytime. Again, it's made its way onto a certain shelf of my Kallax, which is regularly played games with my family.
Nice.
And my partner. So, yeah, Lord of the Rings, Battle for Middle-earth. That's the re-theme of Seven Wonders Duel.
Yes. Which, again, is a great game as well.
Yes. It's Duel for Middle-earth, actually. Is it Duel for Middle-earth or Battle for Middle-earth? Duel for
Middle-earth.
Duel for Middle-earth. My bad on that one. But, yeah, it's the re-theme version. I would actually say that I prefer this version. It's a bit more streamlined than the original. I can't really say I played the original all that much. Or Seven Wonders for that fact. But I really enjoyed the game. I'm not surprised my partner enjoys the game because she loves Seven Wonders Architects. I don't think she even knows that this game is part of that Seven Wonders game system. So she will now because she will have heard that. But yeah, really, really good game. Nice theme integration. Is it the perfect theme integration? Probably not. But I definitely
done well though.
It is done very
enough.
well. I definitely get the feeling that I'm either hobbits running to Mordor or I am the Nazgul chasing down the hobbits, trying to get the Ring of Power before they destroy that wonderful ring.
And just some of the component sides, like I love the sliding glass little compartment with the Nazgul chasing Frodo. It could have been done with just cards, but the fact that they did that was just
Yeah.
And for such a budget price for a 2-player game, you get bang for your buck for this, honestly.
Yeah, 100%.
Even the little meeples with the map of Middle-earth that you try to take out the realms and whatnot. Just so much for a 2-player game. It's fantastic. It's a great pick, honestly.
Yeah. No, I'm very, 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 very happy with that game, and I look forward to playing it a lot more going into 2025. So.
Hopefully they'll take this into consideration and make a bigger player count version. Maybe
that would be really cool,
really good.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. I'd definitely like to see it. Well, I think we're due a good Lord of the Rings board game.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people out there that will swear by certain ones that are already on the market, but
even if it's just a bigger version of that, I'd all over it totally.
Yeah.
But being a 2-player game, I'm not a big fan of 2 players because, again, it's hard for me times to get 2 players into it. But there has been, since Sky Teams last year, year before now, should I say, 2-player games have been banger after banger after banger. Like, I've been playing a lot of Star Wars Unlimited last year, and again, for a 2-player card game, just great, honestly. And then we get a Lord of the Rings version, sign me up. Excellent pick, so honestly.
I mean, you're saying about the 2-player games, I had a bit of a theory with regards to 2-player games and this past year and a bit, which was obviously with how long game production actually takes. I get the feeling that all of the dual games that we've had, the 2-player games, because there's been a lot of them this past year and a half. I get the feeling that's as a result of the lockdown situation. Obviously, a lot of games would have been designed in that time and they wouldn't have had their usual playtesting groups. So you're looking at 2-player games being designed in that time. By the time they've been produced, I think we're getting towards the end of that now.
Yeah.
With the likes of Azul Duel due out in literally weeks.
Living Forest Duel.
Living Forest Duel, again, is coming soon. I do think we're going to see the end of the 2-player thing, which is a bit of a shame because it has been banger after banger with that as well.
Totally.
So, yeah, I'm here for more 2-player games, which I never thought I would say, and I never thought a 2-player only game would be in my top 5 of the year. So, big congratulations to, I believe it's Repost Productions that put that one out, and thank you again for our review copy of that. But yeah, that is my number 3.
Excellent pick, sir. My number 3 then is going to go with my third favourite type of game type of game, and mine is going to be based on deck building. I think you can see where this is going. And my number 3 is going to be from Good Games Publishing, Unfair.
Wow.
Number 3, baby.
Oh, is that a 2024 release?
Yeah, I think it was.
Okay.
The Kickstarter was last year.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Because we got the...
It was the expansions and stuff that was this year, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah.
That was it. I was going to say, the original game is quite a few years old.
Funfair, the original, is a few years old, but Unfair is the new one now.
Okay, fair enough.
And I did check this just to make sure, because again, I wanted to make sure it was on the list probably, but it is a very early 2024 release. Cool. But I believe it's in Australia 2023. So
okay, yes. Yeah.
So why Unfair? Again, back to deck building aspects to it. We love deck buildings. And I think it was a case of do you remember an episode you did for MTVB? And it was our top 5 favourites of the year before or something. And I said, I come across my number 1 of that year was a game that I found at Expo just for giving it a go, waiting and trying. I never even knew what the game was. Yep. We had the same situation with last year's Expo where we walked past Good Games Publishing. We saw this, knew nothing of it, picked up the box and looked like, I love theme park games. So... Yeah. And you can deck build as well. And I believe they were doing a Kickstarter money version or money off deal for it or something. Well, I can't remember now. But we bought it, we tried it, and I absolutely loved it. The mechanics side to it, the artwork for it fits so well with... If it's a card that shows you super attraction, it looks like a super attraction. If it's staff members that are dressed up as characters for certain theme parks, is just phenomenal. Like at the start of the game, you have different types of theme parks. So there's a vampire theme park, there's a dinosaur theme park, there's a Western theme park, ninja, gangster, and you pick 4 of all these random ones, and you make that's how you build your theme park deck and everything. So every game can be different because you have different types of theme. There's a pirate theme park, jungle theme park.
Yep.
There's loads. You can just choose from it. And then basically the aim of the game is to build 5 attractions to try and stay in with the same capacity of a certain amount of people that can visit your park. Obviously earning money, creating events to screw over your other players to not be able to close their attractions, make them lose out on money and stuff. Hence why the game is called Unfair. Yeah. And it is just so great. For me, replayability is a massive thing for me. And that's where Unfair comes into this, because I can go back and play the same theme parks if I wanted to. These same 4, I would still get a different game out of it. And it just had to be on there. I don't know. It was just by chance where we found this game, where we got in good with Good Games Publishing as well. And... Yeah, I hope they come back for Expo this year so I can pick up some play mats and stuff. Yeah. Maybe more expansions as well. It's so good. And I highly recommend this. This is the sleeper game for me because I knew nothing about this until we bought it. So
that was literally, you picked it up because you happened to walk by it and it was like, oh, that's quite a good price.
Exactly.
And we were sort of all, I think we were all together.
Yeah, all 3
I was like, well, I like theme parks. You like theme parks.
Exactly.
There's no theme park games that are due out anytime soon, so
let's give it a try.
And you bought the base game.
It was just the base game at the time.
We played it that same day. We sat down, we learned it against our stomach's will, because we were starving by the end of that day. But we all agreed, no, we need to finish this game.
Yeah.
Because this game is great. And as soon as we finished this game, it was a run to the nearest food stall.
And it was good because all of us from even Paul jumped in and played this as well.
Yeah.
So the actual Meeple Minded team just like bought it, slapped it down, learnt it, played it, done.
Yeah. And the next day you went back and you bought some more.
We bought the expansions.
Yeah.
We bought the expansions. And there's even more coming, I hear. So
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
cannot wait, honestly, mate.
Ooh.
So yeah.
Although, let's be honest now, let's be honest. The Ninja expansion.
never again.
Wow.
Never again. That is the game. See, the Ninja expansion puts the in unfair.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Yeah, I think we both agreed when we played that.
Yes.
That seemed very broken. Very, very broken. I mean, we were only playing 2-player games. That might have made it a bit harder. Because
But in all fairness, it was a
all
case
of
of
mine
like,
was destroy this, destroy that, destroy
so it's
that.
like,
and I was
I'm
playing
going to
the
build
Ninja.
this attraction. Jason's like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
I'm going to build this attraction. No, you're not.
Yeah. And then if he didn't build something that turn, so he didn't build anything this turn.
is it.
Okay, well I'll destroy that instead then.
Exactly. So, but that's the game. That's why it's called unfair. And if you're up for that if you love your theme parks, if you love screwing your mates over, and you like deck builders, it is a big, big win. And to give it a try, guys. Honestly,
Yeah, fantastic game. Would you reckon that Funfair, the non-take that version, is just as fun?
I haven't played it, but
No.
I mean, I'm willing to give it a try just for a family side,
Yeah.
to get a family side to play it.
I don't think it's going to be one of those that you'd want to own both.
That's fair. That's fair. If someone else had it, I'd play it.
Yeah, I would definitely like to give it a go. I don't
definitely.
know anyone that's got it though, which is a real shame. But yeah, I would agree. That was probably the hidden gem of the expo for me.
Yeah,
It was definitely one of them.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. One. I think we had a few, but that was definitely one of the
Yeah.
hidden gems of that weekend. Definitely.
But yeah, very good call. Fantastic game. Love it. Okay, so my number 2. Now, this was a tough one. It was number 1, then it dropped to number 2, then it went back to number 1, then it went back to number 2. So 1 and 2 have been jostling the entire time
I like it when it does that.
that I've been doing this list. So I'm going to go in with another UK Games Expo purchase.
Okay.
I think Ant probably knows what it is.
I thought it would be a number 1, but go.
I'm actually misleading you a little bit because my number 1 is also a UK Games Expo purchase.
Okay, damn it.
But anyway, I will delay it no longer. My number 2 is, of course, from Lebelude. It's Harmonies.
Harmonies? Really?
It is.
No.
It is indeed, yes.
Wow.
Harmonies is my number 2.
Wow. I never hear you talk about this game.
I love that game, mate.
Wow,
Absolutely love
okay.
it. So Harmonies, why do I love Harmonies? Well, it is that game that is the erroneous love child of Cascadia and Azul. I find it absolutely fantastic to the point as I don't even own Azul anymore. Like I've sold all of my Azul copies. Now those were games that I kept for so long. But to be honest, once I'd played Harmonies, I tried to play Azul again. I was just, there's not enough.
Doesn't
here.
cut it.
It's not cutting it anymore. Whereas Harmonies just has that little bit extra, that little bit of strategy on top of Azul,
Right.
while still being light enough that I can introduce brand new people to it.
Wow. I'm honestly number 2.
Number two, and he was.
I'm so shocked, honestly.
This has been jostling for number 1 as well.
Wow, okay.
I was so very close to putting this at number 1. It's even written on my list as number 1.
What?
It's only
No.
changed while we were
I
doing
would
this.
I would not have got that, honestly.
So I can't rate this game much more. I think it's a fantastic little game.
Which came out of nowhere. Like it
did.
Sort of like people were talking about it the weekend before Expo. And like I said, we got hold of the copy, we played it, and then just
this was probably
Got bigger since.
we were talking about Unfair and how it was a hidden gem.
Yeah.
It was definitely one of my top 5 hidden gems of UK Games Expo, but genuinely Harmonies was the number 1 hidden gem for me because I'd heard next to nothing about this game.
Yeah.
Like you said, until very close to the expo. And even then, when I was hearing about it, I wasn't all that infused by it. I was just sort of it's another Azul clone, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then when you picked it up and we sat down and we played it, I was like, wow, this has got a bit more depth to it than I thought it did,
totally.
without being heavy. It didn't even get anywhere near that middleweight category. It's still a very lightweight game. Yet it had me thinking. I was actually having to spend time looking at my board going, what the hell am I doing? How the hell am I going to do this? How do I maximize points? Dave over there is running away with it. I need to catch up with him. And then all of a sudden, the luck element comes in. Some more cards come in. So, oh, boom! I can smash that. I'll smash that. And having it would be nice to have maybe a little bit more of a cutthroat version of it, where if you lose points if you don't succeed in doing the cards, because there's nothing to stop you. It's like, well, I want that card, I want that card, I want that card. Granted, you're limited to what, 4?
Yes, until you complete it, then you can take another one. Yeah.
But that's not a limit really. For
no,
me.
it's not.
I find it very
It's not like
hard.
you just have the 4, then that's it. It's a lot, but you can actually,
and I can't say there's ever been a point where I feel like I needed more than 4 at a time.
Yeah. True.
And the perfect thing for me is, all right, if I take 1 or 2 of the particularly hard ones and work towards them, and then take 1 or 2 of the smaller, easier ones that I can work through while going for those bigger ones, there's just a lot more strategy there than there is in Azul. And, I love Azul. I really, really do, but I don't feel the need to own it anymore. I don't feel the need to be playing it anymore. This just gave me that, I guess, refresh that I drastically needed to get me back into the lighter weight games, as well as those middleweight games where I was sitting. I just think it was the perfect fit at the perfect time for me. And I haven't played it in a very long time. This upsets me, and I want to play it again. And I think we should play it again.
100%.
So, yeah.
But no, I totally see where you're coming from. Like, especially when you're overthinking your turn and stuff. But then you've got to remember you score points one way as well as another. So you might be scoring your animals side to it, but you might also be scoring your landscape side at the same time without realizing. That's where this game is. It's like it just goes well with it. And then we were playing it. You said we got Dave to play it.
Yep.
Next minute, Dave was trying to find a copy. He couldn't find one. We were lucky enough to get literally the last copy Thursday morning, was it? No, Friday morning.
I think it was, yeah.
Friday morning, whatever. And dude, honestly, I'm flabbergasted that this is top 2 for you.
Yeah.
Because you never talk about this, but now I know. So,
there you go.
Honourable mention for James. I think this was going to be his number 1.
I think James would have had this on his list.
Yeah.
Should he have been here? Whether it would have been number 1, I don't know, but
Top
would
2
have been in there
for him as well, maybe.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know. I will speak to him.
Be interested to see what he says.
Yeah. But there you go. Lebelude Harmonies, my number 2.
Nice, good pick. So, you ready for this?
Go on.
My number 2 is what Jason probably thought was going to be my number 1.
Ooh.
And it's an Expo game because I managed to pick it up at Expo. But my number 2 is Simon's Dune War for Arrakis.
Oh, I should have excluded
He knew it was coming, but I reckon he thought it was number 1. But it was very close to being number 1. I'm not going to lie. But why is it number 2? This game, if anyone listens to, obviously, Meeple Minded beforehand, and we've talked about why we like certain games. I like games for a game to give me an experience. This is what Dune War for Arrakis does. I was heavily into Dune Imperium, if anyone knows that through the board game side of it. I think this tops it. This beats Dune Imperium. This is so much more of a game than Dune Imperium was. And come at me with that, guys. I don't care. This game is everything. And it can be a 2-player if you want. It's designed for 2-player, but it can go up to 4. And it is phenomenal at 4 players. I'm not going to lie. Like, if you want to, talk to one another and, be let's make a tactic or something, you actually get a token for the other players to leave the room whilst you talk about your tactics. It's crazy. And if anyone doesn't know what it is, just very quickly, you're either the Harkonnens or the Atreides. The Harkonnens have all the troops are all out and ready to attack the Arrakis, whereas you've got the Atreides who are low on troops that you need to build up your troops, as well as deal with sandworms to destroy the Harkonnens' base and everything. This is thematically a let's just say it's a massive version of chess, but done so well, and with the attacks and the dice and Simon's amazing miniature. We all know they have amazing miniatures anyway, but they go all out for this, and they have put so much detail, so much effort into this, and I'm making it out like it's a heavy game. I hate heavy games. This is not a heavy game. This is a very simple and very intimidating looking game. Anyone could pick this up. My daughter could play this. This is so easy to play. Once you know how to move your troops and how to play certain characters, it is easy. It's literally rolling dice, placing it on certain things where you can do certain actions and go at it. It is phenomenal. It is brilliant. Its only issue is it goes on forever. And the fact that it's designed by another one of my favorite 2-player games of all time, spoilers if we ever do the episode, Star Wars Rebellion, they have gone all out for this. And I cannot wait for the other expansions coming that I've ordered through Kickstarter. I'm going to go on forever this. If I keep talking about it, it'll be a whole episode, but it is well worth your time. It's well worth your money if you can get the players to really enjoy and have a great experience of it. Doing War for Arrakis, number 2.
Okay, nice. I would say good choice, but
I know what you think, but I had to get it in.
How much I can't stand the Dune
I know. I shouldn't waffle on too much about it, but yeah, it had to go on the list. Again, so close to number 1, but something came in very last minute to knock it off.
I'm very, very interested to hear your number 1, but before we get to that, I do have to cover my number 1. Some of you that are watching the video will have noticed I was just checking something on the old phone to make sure that my number 1
was released
is actually a 2024 game, and it was released on the 5th of January.
Oh, wow.
2024.
So it did make it. Nice. So it's nearly a year old in 3 days.
It is, yeah. So almost a year old, wishing it a happy birthday, obviously, because it is a fantastic game. It has become apparent to quite a few people that I have taken to roll and writes quite a bit recently. And I'm not going to lie, when I was reshuffling my shelves earlier, it made its way onto the shelf from my game bag, and I was thinking to myself, I really want to play this game again. It was one of the games that I thought about backing on Kickstarter when it was on there. I didn't. I picked it up at the UK Games Expo along with a few neoprene mats.
Did, yep.
So I'm going to say, I'm just going to stop stalling now. It's Inside Up Games, Draft and Write Records.
Yes.
Oh, I love this game.
Yes. I knew from when we were playing this, when you were teaching it to people for months, that this was going to be number 1. Straight off the bat, mate, I knew this was going to... I couldn't think of anything else this year that would come out that would top that.
Yep.
But good pick, honestly.
It was... Do you know what? I was thinking to myself, does it really deserve a place? It's not the best game in the world. I know it's not the best game in the world. It's probably not, physically the best game of 2024, but for me, it really was. I've played it to death and then some. I haven't played it in the last few months purely because I was hitting it so hard. I needed to give it a bit of a rest, but do you know what I'm missing?
He was running out of sheets.
Not quite, but not far off. When they come back to the UK Games Expo, hopefully this year, I will have to buy another pad because, my God, I have been hitting that game.
Probably some more playmats as well.
Yeah, I could do with 2 more so that I can play it at 6 players.
Always doing more playmats.
But yeah, I just love this game. I can't really tell you why. It's just a glorified roll and write game, really.
Does the theme help at all? Because it's very music heavy, and obviously your background with music and stuff as well.
100%. With my background in music, Draft and Write Records definitely scratched that itch. And, of course, it came along at a time where we were waiting for Rock Hard 1977. Time will tell whether Rock Hard will topple Draft and Write Records. I know for James, he's more interested in Draft and Write because he's not so much into the roll and write aspect of it. However, he has enjoyed this game.
Oh, yeah,
I
totally.
believe you've enjoyed it as well.
I've only played it once, maybe twice, but still good regardless. Yeah,
everyone I've played it with has enjoyed it. It's nice, it's quick, it's punchy, it's very easy to understand, very easy to teach, and it's just, frankly, a very, very good roll and write game, albeit a little bit of an expensive roll and write game. I'm the first to admit that. But yeah.
But the artwork's great. The boards that you have on, sorry, not the boards. The sheet you do on is good with like the little maps and stuff system you can do and whatnot, and it goes so well with with the theme to it and whatnot.
I mean, we call it a roll and write. There's no
actual rolling though.
There's no rolling.
No.
It's all done with the cards as well, with the band members, and then you're playing cards with the symbols on and stuff like that. And I really, really enjoy that, and the building of your sort of crew as well. I really, really enjoy that. It gives you a nice visual representation.
Yes, that's right. You build your sound crew and your tech crew and all that stuff. Yeah,
it's not just the band, is it? You're going on a tour, you're going to need roadies.
Yep.
You're going on a tour, you're going to need recording stuff. You're going to need managers and all that kind of jazz. And it's all represented within that little crew thing. And then you've got the synergy aspect of it.
Yeah.
You know, which I really, really like, because you can't just take a hip hop artist, shove him in with a metal head, and then put in a bassist from a jazz band.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. It would probably come up with something very unique, but it's not something that everyone's going to want to listen to. You're going to want those synergies between the bands. It's the same with the crews, guys. You need, there's no point in having a total crew of people that are used to doing a jazz band when you're a heavy thrash metal band. They're not going to make you sound good.
Yeah.
You need people that work together, and that synergy thing going on is really, really good. Not only that, it helps you gain points at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Because every synergy you create, you're knocking off bits at the bottom of the board.
So you unlock more stuff, don't you?
If you complete those, you get points. If you do vertical stuff, you get more bonuses, and so on and so forth. It's a roll and write game, much like every other roll and write game. It's Gang Sean Clever on steroids, but my God, are those steroids good?
Yeah.
So, and yeah, the theme works. The theme works for it. I never thought I'd say that about a roll and write game, which is why I love this game. Draft and Write Records, Inside Up Games, the same people that brought us Earth, which again was, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong, was in my top 5 of 2023.
I believe so, yeah.
So that's 2 years in a row that Earth has managed, the Inside Up Games have managed to get into my top 5 lists. Let's see if they manage to make it
another year,
2025. And I am going to say very, very quickly,
is there a game that you're looking forward to?
I'm very surprised that Terminus did not make it into this list. And that is because I thought it was rubbish.
Which is big for us here, guys, because it's Terminus. Jason loves trains. It's a board game about trains.
Yeah.
He didn't like it, which clearly says something about that game. It's not right with it.
If we were talking about top 5 regrets of purchases this year, Terminus would probably be my number 1. So I'm not an Inside Up fanboy by any means, but that's 2 years in a row that they've managed to get into my top 5. Congratulations, Inside Up Games. Draft and Write Records, my number 1 of 2024.
Excellent pick. I wouldn't mind playing that again, to be honest.
Yep, we will.
Right, my number 1 is going to be no stranger to anyone who knows me. I'm going to be super biased because it is a added season to my favorite game of all time, and it is season 3 and 4 of Cthulhu Death May Die, which was released by Kickstarter in October of this year. So this is an official one, and I'm taking it.
So we're basically saying an expansion is your number 1, right?
To a degree, but it is another core box. So
I'll allow it.
We'll allow it because it is a new core box to get more fans into it. But yes, anyone who doesn't know it, again, designed by Eric Lang and another French designer. I can't remember his name now, but I love the Cthulhu theme to this. The reason why it's my number 1 is because of the way the game is played through episodes. Not only do you not have to play for episodes, you can just do it any way you want, but the fact that there is no board, you build it as to what the episode teaches you to do, what you have to do, the details to the monsters, the investigators, the storylines. It hooks me every time because, again, it's back to replayability. I could play with different investigators. I could play the same episode with different elder gods and stuff like that, which is the aim of the game, to stop elder gods. There is so much this. C1 packs so much punch into this. So you're like the zombie side. When you pay out for it, you get bang for your buck, and it will last you ages. The fact that this was, released very last bit of the year, I have got to play it a few times with my Cthulhu Death May Die Club, but Doom would have been number 1 if this didn't get released this year. Again, I could talk so much more on Cthulhu Death May Die, but it will be a whole entire episode. Love that game. Love season 3. Haven't started season 4 yet. Can't wait.
Very, very nice. Very nice. Yeah, we all know how much you like
So
Cthulhu
good.
Death May Die.
So good. It's so weird because the first time I got to play that was 2 years ago at Essen. Well, 3 years ago now, shall I say, where me and Wayne got to play it and play the demo of it, and that's when they released the Kickstarter. And when we come home from from Essen, it was there waiting for me. Like 2 years to the day since I played it. So cool, man. And the next minute I was on to the guys like, it's here, we need to play it. And within days they were over at my house and we were, it's so good.
Yeah.
Play it, it's so good.
You've got a good group that enjoy the game. So
Absolutely, yeah.
that's always
Otherwise I wouldn't keep splashing out for it. So
very nice indeed. So yeah, that's top 5 lists.
That's top 5
completed. 2 very different lists, I would say.
yes. Nice mixture.
So I mean, I guess we could call it the top 10.
Still
if we
great games
wanted
because
to.
I would happily play yours.
Yep.
And you
play
you
most
play
of
some
yours.
of mine. So, but no, we got some good picks there.
Very, very nice. Have you got any honourable mentions?
I
'Cause,
do.
I know that there were a few for me that didn't quite cut the mustard.
So we've only been playing it recently, so I didn't put it in the top 5. Video Game Champion, obviously.
That's on my list as well.
Yeah. Star Tycoon.
Okay. Yeah.
That was so close to being in the top 5, but I put Wild Castle in there instead. I love Star Tycoon.
Very nice.
I need to play it more because I do really enjoy that game. Heroes of Arcadia is another one for me, and Harmonies was the other one. Harmonies.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. So I've had to load up BG stats to remember because I've played so many 2024 games this year. So I want to mention the Worms board game.
Yes,
Because we played that. Now, it didn't make the top 5. I don't think it was quite worthy of the top 5. However, it was a great, fun game. I really enjoyed playing that. I had to go out and buy the retail copy. I've since gone out and spent too much money to get the neoprene mat and all the extra bits for it, just not the extra miniatures. So that's a really good game. I really enjoyed Tower Up, which was another one I picked up at Essen. Very, very good, fun little game.
Nice.
Not really played it enough to justify it being in the top 5, but I've played it enough to know that I don't think it would make it there. But it is a good, fun game nonetheless. A game you introduced me to, Star Wars Unlimited.
Oh, that made you... honourable mentions, nice.
It definitely made it to the honourable mentions. Now, anyone who knows me, I've talked about it many times on the podcast before. I am not into TCG, CCG, anything like that anymore. But I believe you were gifted.
It was a birthday gift, yeah.
And we've had a great fun time playing it, just the 2-player with the base stuff. Very, very fun game. I would recommend everyone get into it if it wasn't for the TCG, CCG model of having to buy boosters in order to get the best cards and so on and so forth. So there is always a downside. That is the biggest downside for that. If it was an LCG, a living card game, I'd be all in it. I'd be all over it. I'd have everything at this
That's
point.
why I haven't bought any more since. But but if you want to just give it a taster, just try the starter pack. You've got more than enough in there for it to get you started if you wanted to.
Exactly. If you're not going to play it all the time, it's a great great way to
I only have
the
starter pack, so it's done me justice with that.
Nice. I want to give a special shout out to Corridor Pac-Man as well.
Yes.
By no means is it best game of the year.
No, it's a lot of fun, though.
But it is great fun. Did give me some old school vibes on that one.
And it helps because you can have more than 2 players this time as well, can't you? There's a mode in it you can do.
Yes.
Like 4 or 5 players, isn't it? Something like that.
And as it happens at the time of recording, I believe they've just uploaded some free rules updates for it, which actually means you can now change the Pac-Man variant, which was my one complaint when I did a review on it.
Okay.
Which was that the Pac-Man variant is set. You can't move the walls or anything like that. I believe this new version you can.
Whoa,
so
okay.
Very much looking forward to giving that a go. And another one. In fact, I'm going to go 2 more. One was an Expo purchase for yourself, and it was a lucky one that we had, which was Courtesans. Really, really good game.
How did I forget that? Of course, Courtesans, yes. Thank you, Steve, again. I know I keep thanking you, but thank you.
So Courtesans, had to mention that. Lovely little box game.
Absolutely.
Good production. I still would rather have had a neoprene mat than the fabric one,
Yes,
but I get
totally,
it.
yeah.
Theme went with the theme. And the final one I'm going to message, I've only played recently, and I'm only really going to talk about it because I think it's a very good game for families and it's reasonably priced, which is Flip 7.
Yes.
Interesting little game, fun to play, very quick.
Great crowd pleaser.
Great little crowd pleaser,
Yeah.
and can cover a decent amount of heads
Yes.
in one go without taking up too much of people's time.
Yes.
So they're going to be my honourable mentions. There are a lot of games released every single year.
Yeah, and just for a heads up, I mean, I believe Jason and myself still have games we purchased last year that we never got to play. So we probably would have made those into the list or incorporated them into the list, but we still have stuff we've not even learned yet, even had time to play.
Yep.
So just a heads up if we didn't mention your top 5 in there. So one of your mentions for your top 5 anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, there are thousands of games released every single year. It's physically impossible for anyone to play them all. But we'll get round to playing most of the big ones eventually.
Yes.
Be interesting if we revisit this list maybe at the end of the year, sort of
Yeah, I think we
revisit our
should.
list and see whether that would have changed once we've played some more games. But yeah, I think it was a pretty good year for games this year
Yeah.
overall.
Most definitely. And the fact that we got to do Essen and Expo, you know, we probably wouldn't have had half this list on here at all if we hadn't gone to any of those. So, yeah, a great game, a great year for gaming. And I think 2025 is going to be an even better one, and honestly.
Yeah, nice. I really do hope so. Like I said, I had that theory with regards to the two-player games and why they've been so prevalent. But that also goes for the amount of games I think we're going to see coming in this coming year, because we're now moving into the era where everyone would be coming out of lockdown, going back into the office, working on these games with bigger groups. I think we're going to see some annoyingly big box games coming out over the next year or so. That's where I think the business is going. I kind of hope not, because I'm kind of wanting to see a resurgence of like the Ticket to Ride size boxes. You know, more reasonably priced ones in 2025, but who knows whether that will happen or not. But there are some games that are going to be turning up very soon that I think could well be on my list this time next year. So I shall look forward to that.
Me too.
Yeah. So there we go. First podcast of the year done, Anthony.
I think we did well.
And first video podcast of all time. Of all time in the world.
In the world.
Yes. How do you think it went?
I think it did pretty well.
Yeah.
But what did you guys think? Comment below and let us know.
Exactly. I hope this is going to be something we continue, because it's been quite fun. It's a bit weird being on camera. I'm not going to lie. It is very weird.
But I think we could get used to it, and bright future for Meeple Minded videos.
Yeah. Fingers crossed indeed. But I mean, is there anything else you want to say before we bid the people adieu?
Just be interested to know what your top 5 was. So please, again, like I've said, comment, let us know what you were playing last year and give us your top 5s. Hey, even give us a recommendation maybe. So be good to hear from you all.
Yeah, I mean, if there is a game you think we have missed out on, whether it be because we haven't played it or whether because we were just wrong, let us know. I'm interested to hear what all of you have to say, because if there are games that I haven't played, I'll more than likely search them out to get them
Give
to
them a
the
try.
table. But yeah, I guess till next time, thank you very much for joining us. And if you have joined us for our inaugural video and you're still watching, thank you very much for hanging in there. And I hope to see you in 2 weeks' time for the next one. But until then, I have been Jason.
I've been Ant.
And you have been watching and listening to the Meeple Minded podcast. Join us next week. Or next time. Oh, I can't say that anymore.
Can't say next week
Join
anymore.
us next time for more tabletop gaming goodness. Ta-ta and goodbye.